So today we'll start with, or we introduced the 4-letter scales. We've completed the 3-letter scales. Who can remind us of the 3-letter scales? What did we have for the 3-letter scales? Fa'ala, fu'ila. What's the last one? Fa'ila. Okay, inshallah, we'll start the 4-letter scales now. For the 4-letter scales, we have 4. So for 3-letter scales, we have 3. For 4-letter scales, we have 4. Starting from af'ala, we have af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, and fa'lala. And 3 of these 4 are increased by 1 letter, and the other one is a root letter. Who can remember which one was the root letters and which one is increased by 1? Which of the 3 are increased by 1 and which one has a root letter? We mentioned last week. Okay, so af'ala, that is increased by an hamza. You have the root letters fa'ala increased by an hamza. Fa'ala is increased by an alif. Fa'ala, what is this increased by? Fa'ala. And extra ain, ashadda. And then you have fa'lala. So what we do now is differentiate between the mujarrad and the mazid. So the Arabic verbs will fall into one of the 3. It will either be al-mujarrad or it will be al-mazid. So we'll take the mujarrad first. The mujarrad is the verb that has 3 letters as a root if it's a thulathi, 3 letters, or 4 letters if it's a ruba'i. Thulathi meaning 3 letters. And then you have the ruba'i. There are no extra letters added in order to modify its meaning. That's the mujarrad. Then you have the mazid, which is an increase, where you have 1 or more letters added to the verb in order to change the meaning. I'll give you a minute to write that. So now we'll look at examples of the mujarrad and the mazid. So you have salima. This is now, is it mujarrad or mazid? This is mujarrad, there's no increase. There's no increase. Salima. Okay, so now we'll look at examples for the mujarrad. If you look at sallama, this is now a mazid. What is the increase? The middle letter has been doubled. There's a shadda, there's another lam. One of a sukoon and one of a fatha. Sallama. This is a mazid. Then look at the next one, salama. What's the increase here? It's been increased by an alif after the first root letter. This is another mazid. All of these are an increase from salima. The root letters remain in all of them with an increase. Look at the next one, tasallama. So the first one is he saved. Salama, he made peace. Sallama or tasallama, he received. What's been increased here on tasallama? Ta and another lam, tasallama. Then we have aslama, he became Muslim or he surrendered. What's the increase here? There's a hamza. And then the last one is taslama, he surrendered. Alif, sin, ta at the beginning or before the first root letter. Does that make sense? What the difference is between the mujarrad and the mazid? We've increased from salima in order to modify or change the meaning. Okay? So if you go to the next slide now, we have the mujarrad on the left. You have fa'ala, fa'ila, and fa'ula. So you have nazala, he came down. Darasa, he learned or studied. Qatala, he killed. Kasara, he broke. Sabaha, he swam. Now if we were to increase or double the middle letter in all of these verbs, the meanings will change. So now nazala was he came down. If you say nazzala, he sent down or he brought down. Does that make sense? Darasa, he learned, studied. If you say darrasa, he taught. You see that? From he studied to he taught. If you say qatala, he killed. Qattala, he massacred. Kasara, he broke. Kassara, he smashed. Sabaha, he swam. Sabbaha is to glorify. And this scale can sometimes mean to do something repetitively. For example, kasara is to break something once. Kassara is to smash it repeatedly. Okay? Dhabaha is to slaughter. So you slaughter a chicken. Dhabbaha is to massacre. Does that make sense? Yes. With force as well. It can be used with force. Let's look at the next scale. So we've done fa'ala. This is a 4-letter scale. Then we'll do fa'ala. Bab fa'ala. So we have qatala. He killed. If we were to increase with an alif, we will get qatala is to fight. Qatala. From qatala to kill. Qatala, he fought. Jahada is to exert yourself. Jahada is to strive. This is making sense. So the meaning has changed. All of these are mazid, where we increase the letter in order to modify or change the meaning. Shahida, he witnessed. Shahada is to view or to watch something like a show or TV. Shahada. Then you have khataba is to deliver a public address. Khataba is to address someone directly. Nada, he called. Nada, he called and shouted. Sometimes the meaning can be similar, sometimes they'll change completely. Next one, af'ala. Bab, af'ala. So now we already know we've increased it by a hamza before the first root letter. Nazala, he came down. Anzala, he brought down. So when you say nazala, I came down. If I say nazaltu, I came down. But if I say anzaltu, I brought something down. Does that make sense? Nazala, you done the action of coming down. Anzala, you made something else come down. Okay? So I'll say anzaltul kitab, I brought down the book. So nazala, anzala. Nazala, he came down. Anzala, he brought something down. If I say anzaltu, yeah, it needs a maf'ul bihi, something that you brought down. Nazaltu min as-sayyara, I came down, or I came down from, let's say, the car. Anzaltul kitab, I brought down the book, like that. So kharaja, what's the meaning of kharaja? We've taken that many times. To exit. If I say akhraja, I made something else exit, or I took something out. That's the meaning, the difference here. Kharaja, he exited. Akhraja, he made something exit, or he took something out. Salaha, he was good. Aslaha, he made something good. Salima, he was safe. Aslama is to surrender or embrace Islam. Zada, he looked for or he searched for. Then you have, Rada, he looked for or he searched for. Arada, he wanted. To want something. Arada. And the last one, Qama, he stood up. Aqama, he made something stand. Do you have a question? Here we've done the 3 that are mazid. We've not done fa'lala, which is the one with a root letter. So now what we do is we'll go into the book. The Shaykh here says, أوزان الفعل الماضي الرباعي. The past letter, the past letter 4 tense. These are past letter verbs with 4 letters. As I mentioned, you have af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, and then fa'lala. Those are the 4. And then the author, he gives us 5 verbs for each scale. Okay, so I'll give you the meaning of each one. I'll go through it slowly. Akhbara, the first one, akhbara, he informed. He informed. Aqsama, he swore, as in an oath. You swore an oath, not swearing. Aflaha, he succeeded. Aflaha, he succeeded. أكره, he forced. أكمل, he completed. You can give us that, the translation. You can give me the translation that I was just giving you. Yeah, all five. He informed. He swore. He succeeded. He forced. He completed. صح. We'll do now فاعل. فاعل, you have ذاكر, to revise. جالس, to sit with. راجع is to revise again. قابل is to meet. And the last one, سارع, is to race. To race. أخبر is to inform. So we've done now أفعل and فاعل. Now let's go to فعل. Have you all written فاعل? Everyone written? Okay, now let's go to فعل. علم is to teach. علم. Who can remove the extra letter and go back to the root? علم. No, yeah, now go back. What's the root? علم. What does that mean? علم. To know. صح. Okay, عرف, to make something known or acquainted. فقه, to give understanding. بلغ, to convey. بلغ, to convey. بدع, to declare someone an innovator. بدع, to declare someone an innovator. Yeah, an innovator. Is that all written? Shall we go to the next one? فعلل. فعلل, you have دحرج, is to roll. To roll. برهن is to provide evidence or prove something. برمج is to program. بسملة is to say Bismillah. And handasa is to engineer. Have you missed any of them? Shall I repeat any? Which one? Say again? تقرأ. Where's that one? ذاكر is to revise. To revise. And at the bottom he mentions what we mentioned, that three of these are an increase and one of them has a root letter. So if you go to the next slide now, as I mentioned, if you've done fa'ala, fa'ila and fa'ula properly, and you've memorized it and you've conjugated it at home and you've practiced, from here it should be easy. So you have the first scale that we're going to conjugate, af'ala. You should all know the pronouns by now, right? If I say af'altu, I, af'alta. So we know all the pronouns now, alhamdulillah. So you have af'ala, af'ala, أفعلوا أفعلت أفعلتا أفعلنا أفعلت أفعلتما أفعلتم أفعلتي أفعلتما أفعلتن أفعلت أفعلنا أفعلنا. So what we're going to do now is we're going to conjugate, we're going to split up and conjugate these verbs. So you have أحسن أسقط أنعم أخلص أضحك. Should we translate these and then we'll conjugate. So أحسن is to do good. أحسن is to do good. You don't have to memorize every single verb here, but the ones that are most used, you memorize them, that's good. أسحن is a good one to memorize. أسحن, أحسن, sorry. أسقط is to make something fall. أنعم is to grant or bestow something. أخلص is to be sincere. And أضحك is to make someone laugh. We'll go to the next one. فاعل. The scale فاعل. So we have تابع. تابع. تابع means to follow up. تابع. وافق is to agree. He agreed. وافق. سافر is to travel. خالف is to oppose. خالف is to oppose. فارق to divide and separate. Divide or separate. So next one, فعل. يسر is to ease or facilitate something. Then you have فجر, to blow up. سبح. سبح. You can translate سبح. You should know this one. To glorify. سبح is to glorify. كبر. To magnify, yes. سبح and كبر to magnify. Allahu Akbar. And كذب. That's كذب. To deny. كذب with the shadda is to deny. كذب. كذب. Okay, we'll move on now. We'll go to the last one. فعلل. The scale فعلل. Let's take the definitions. سخرف is to beautify. سخرف, to beautify. بسملة. بسملة. Bismillah. And برهنة is to provide evidence or proof. بلبلة is to confuse. And بعرف is to find or discover. And with that, we've completed, after you conjugate this, the four letter verbs. And then next week, inshallah, we'll do the 5 and the 6 together. So for 3 letter verbs, there's 3. 4 letters, there's 4. 5 letters, there's 5 that you have to memorize. And for the 6 letters, there's 1. There's more, but the Shaykh, he only gives us 1. الرحمن علم القرآن. فعل. Do you know what it means? علم. he taught. Then you have khalaqa on the scale. Fa'ala. Who remembers the meaning of khalaqa? To create. So he taught the Quran, he created man. Allamahu al-bayan. And that is similar to allama al-Quran. Okay, sabbaha lillah. On the scale. Fa'ala. Meaning? To glorify. Okay, alladhi barakna. We didn't take this verb. Baraka is to bless. Bless. Baraka. So barakna. What is the scale is that on? Barak. Fa'alna. Baraka on the scale. Fa'ala. So you're going to go back to the root. Fa'ala. Baraka. To bless. Next one. Jahada. Here you have the past and the present. You have jahada. Yujahidu. Who remembers the meaning of jahada? Yeah, on the scale of fa'ala. Struggle? To strive. Whoever strives will only strive for his own soul. وقالوا, we didn't take this, but قالوا means, you can recognize the word jama'ah. They said, Alhamdulillah alladhi adhaba. Adhaba. What does adhaba mean? To go. Adhaba is to remove. An al-hazan. All praise to the one who removed from us sadness or grief. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا. أَرْسَلَ. Here we have أَرْسَلَ. On the scale? I read it in the he form first, and then أفعل, and then here أرسل. We have أرسلنا, meaning he sent, you sent, we sent. أرسلنا, we sent. And then you have عسعس on the scale. فعل. And then here we have two. We have فَكَذَّبُوهُ. The who is returned to something else, but كَذَّبُوهُ. كَذَّبُوهُ. We just took that. فَعَّلَ. Let's go فَعَّلَ. And literally let's go فَعَّلُوا. Meaning? They denied. نعم. They denied. فَدَمْدَمَ. The fa is عطف, meaning so, but the verb is دَمْدَمَ. On the scale, فَعْلَلَ. Wow. Alhamdulillah, we've completed now the 4-letter scales. And as I mentioned, next week, before Ramadan, we can finish the 5 and the 6-letter. And if Ramadan, inshallah, starts on the Sunday, we can do the 3-letter present tense verbs.